Attention! Go. Get ready, please.
Well, let us see how Reading roar. The engine with thousands more horsepower in theory. Just to say that there isn't a deftness, a lightness of touch, a natural speed about Imperial and Agecroft that will match them. But you'd expect Reading to be strong off the start. We'll see.
Attention! Go!
There is that roar, that deep dig, that desperation for early pace. How do you read it?
Both quads got off very, very well. They're very smooth. Imperial College, you can see, getting a nice long stroke even at the high stroke rates. Steering seems to be well. They're coming out of the end of the island now, and Imperial has been able to stay with them. So it should be a very good race.
That is an interesting indicator. These are big, muscular, strong 13, 14, 15 stone athletes in the Reading boats, stroked by Robert Johnston with Sam Twine, Vincent DeLuca and Dominic Tope in the bow seat for Reading, furthest from us now. And for Imperial and Agecroft, Tim Richards is the stroke. Zach Lee Green, who is the Agecroft competitor, Charles Waite Roberts, and John Hale in the bow.
You see Imperial College, Agecroft is rowing very efficiently, very, very efficiently. So they're using their lighter weight at a higher efficiency, can generally generate more horsepower, but they need to continue to move away from the bigger boat. The bigger boat can sprint if they need to.
And what would you observe in terms of their weight about the comparisons between their styles? How is Reading's superior weight, or greater weight, not necessarily superior, greater weight, evident in their stroke?
They have a slightly slower start initiation of the stroke, whereas Imperial College, the oars are going in immediately and generating towards the stern. So they're really rowing the boat very smoothly. You can see from this shot here, it looks like there's just one set of oars. There's a little steering problem, which sometimes can make a difference in a race.
I think it's Imperial who are being sent packing back to their side by the umpire, and are indeed obeying that order and heading back towards the Bucks Bank.
Imperial is rowing about 2 strokes higher, so they need to just keep picking it off and use the advantage of better skills and quicker movements.
Giving away, if that's the right term, in excess of 3 stone.
And it's developing into a boat race now.
Genuinely is. I'm fascinated by the physicality of it, because these are two such contrasting crews, and if the Imperial 3 and the Agecroft 1 have it within themselves, within their technique and their race plan, to go bicep to bicep with these huge biceps, then indeed they will have they'll have put down a marker for the lightweights.
But it's nice to see Reading hasn't panicked. They're just cruising along about 2 strokes underneath. So they'll have a little more wind at the end of the race to really sprint if they stay close. But they're just letting Imperial College Agecroft just slip away, which is what you don't want to do. They're just greasing their way 6 inches every stroke.
There's an engine there as well, smaller, which is purring more efficiently, coached by Andy Nee Robertson.
And you can see how skinny these kids are. I'm sure someone needs to feed them, at least after this race. But it's a very nice demonstration of fine sculling.
So indeed it is.
Reading is running out of room. Now's the time they need to start to increase their rating. and get back into the race.
And Imperial will certainly be liking the look of those big red numbers. 2 was raised markedly ahead of 1, and that is in their favour. A less promising sight there for Reading, who had a really good, thumping win against German challengers yesterday in a pretty good time, but Imperial College posted the superior race speed, and they are demonstrating that again with their lightness of touch.
This is why televising rowing is so important, because all of the kids that are much lighter and younger, they see big people like Sir Steve and think, oh, I can never row. And then here you are, skinny teenagers moving along more efficiently.
For years, Sean, I worked on our university boat race for television, and there is within that, and a lot of cynicism about it too, but there is a great obsession about weight. There's a day given over to the weigh-in and the confrontation of how many pounds each man is in relation to his immediate opponent. And this sort of race is something that gives a lie to all that.
Yes, I mean, sir, I certainly love Imperial College, because I actually rowed lightweights for the U.S. in the 70s and then realized there was no lightweights in the Olympics, so I became a heavyweight. So I was always the midget in any heavyweight crew I was in, giving away 20 pounds the most to my competitors and teammates.
Well, since you used the word, I hope that the fine athletes involved won't object to being addressed as victorious midgets, because in relative terms, that's what they are. This is a really impressive display by Imperial Agecroft, who've put aside any weight issues and just rode their own race in their own way with a metronomic certainty and an understanding of what they intended to do. They've let statistics talk for themselves and simply covered the course more quickly than Reading, who follow them in a couple of lengths behind.
You won't find a better display of sculling on average than that race just now. And just to be on the record, I did not call them midgets, I called myself a midget.
Apologies for the misquote.
No worries.
But I'm sure they'll understand either way that it was all intended benignly, and we have nothing but praise for the way they rode it.
Yes, you can see how cracking clean they are throughout this. Very little white water. They're just burying the blade. And with white blades, it's hard to see that, but just look at that. It looks like one man and one oar.
Tidy and tight, sometimes barely a ripple, and certainly for the last third of the race, barely a concern. Good win for Imperial Agecroft, who are through on behalf of London and Manchester to tomorrow's semi-final.